3 years ago, I decided to make a documentary film about tattooist D.E. Hardy.
Design of the electric tattooing machine has not changed much since it was patented in, I believe, the late 1800s. And it's set up on a 2-coil system, runs on direct current, and operates pretty much like a doorbell. And in present-day usage, the machine should always be, the power head is kept separate like this, and then the actual tube and needle assembly, the point that does the actual tattooing, is used as a single service unit, which is sterilized before it's reused on anyone in an autoclave sterilizer, a steam sterilizer, the same way that physicians sterilize all of their tools. This is essential to avoid transmission of any minor germs or major diseases, with the points themselves. The tube plugs into the machine, attaches up on the armature bar, and these funky-looking rubber bands serve the invaluable purpose of cutting down on any side motion and keep it a purely up and down motion with the power. And you plug in your transformer that changes the wall current to DC, and then the actual tattooing takes place with this. The points themselves, which are a series of very fine needles, really like a little wire brush built up in varying widths for the effect desired. These are dipped into the pigment and then tattooed on the skin for a period of time, a few seconds, a couple of minutes, however long that lasts. And the range of pigments available today is a lot wider than it was in the past.
What kind of liquid is that in?
They're actually mineral pigments that are suspended, that have been sterilized and then mixed up, suspended in a primarily alcohol and distilled water solution. So they're made just wet enough to work into the skin, and when they heal into the cells themselves, they revert to a granular form. So it's actually like pushing colored powder, colored sand under the top layer of skin.
D.E. Hardy, a master tattooist. He turned me on.
My primary teacher, who set me on the path of most of the technical breakthroughs that have been made in contemporary work, with Sailor Jerry Collins in Honolulu. He was really kind of my mentor, whose torch I'm carrying on with this tattooing. Did some of the work on me, kind of Japanese-style motifs. Zeke Owen, I met before Jerry. He was my introduction, really, to Sailor Jerry. And Zeke was sort of like my older brother in the business and gave me my first real direction in it, headed me the right way. He did quite a bit of my work, and some of these couple of young guys in East Los Angeles that had pioneered with this all-black style of real pointillist kind of fine-line tattooing. Freddie Negrete did this hawk on my neck, which is a very kind of a new wave of tattooing commercially these days. It's got a lot more detail than we used to be able to work with. They've done some of my work. I haven't been tattooed by a vast number of people. The man who I worked with in Japan, Kazuo Oguri, Horihide is his professional name, he did this Buddhist rosary on my wrist here. I guess it's easier to show some of these than to talk about them. And this rosary was done by hand when I was over in Japan with a Japanese hand tool, which differs from this electric machine in that it's very series of needles tied onto the end of a bamboo stick about the length of a chopstick, and then is applied, hand pressure is strictly the method of getting the ink into the skin. One of the things that appeals to me very much about tattoos, another interesting dichotomy that you find with it, is that everyone says, oh, they're so permanent. And they are, but they don't have the permanence in the, quote, art world as, say, a Rembrandt or a Michelangelo sculptor. So they are only around as long as you're around, and you realize that it's something that you enjoy in this life, and you get them for the here and now.
I didn't have a large tattoo, nor did I think about having one. Over the course of getting a large tattoo, which has now become part of the film, I learned what tattoos are all about, their magic and their mystery, and their personalities.
I couldn't single out anything that is the most difficult, because it's so, I think that you have to be in touch with so many things simultaneously, and you have to be part physician and part artist and part psychologist. And the actual act of doing the tattooing is crucial, because you cannot make mistakes. You can't erase it. I think that it's a particularly interesting thing, because you are making that record of the event for the person doing the tattoo, and particularly the person wearing it. It's a record. It's sort of a distillation of everything happening at that moment.
When you're in the shop and work begins on your body, it does hurt, but there is so much high energy in the shop that after every session, I go out of the shop feeling really high again.
I think tattooing can be as pure a form of meditation and path to higher awareness as anything there is. I love it that way, and I've never gotten higher, had any more exhilarating, instances of any other kind of artwork, and I've tried quite a few. Tattooing is the ultimate.